You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level. Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn connects you with experts from all over the world to help you take charge of your career, your business, and your life. Rap along with us. Visit drjacalyn.com to learn how to become a guest or a sponsor. And now, the doctor is in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio. You are watching A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. I'm your host, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and this is a presentation show. I have hand-selected people from all over the world who are experts in their field, and they love to help other people. They truly are about helping people have a better quality of life personally and or professionally. Joining me today is Jean Keegan Daly. Hi, Jean.
Hi, Jacalyn, Dr. Jacalyn.
It's nice to see you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, I'm excited for your lesson today, but before we begin, I just want to let the audience know what to expect. So our show, as I mentioned, is a presentation show. So Jean will be giving a 15-minute presentation on something to make us better personally or professionally. And then after that, Jean and I will have a conversation about it and talk about the key takeaways. So Jean, before we begin, I'm going to spotlight you. And if you would just share with our audience who it is you are and what it is you do, the value that you bring to this beautiful world.
And it truly is a beautiful world. Despite all the chaos that is happening right now, there are many, many wonderful things in the world. I have been a registered nurse, a holistic registered nurse, for about 55 years, 56 years. And it's all about helping other people. I've also been a holistic educator and therapist and counselor in my own private practice. And I have taught a lot of classes in my life. I have many, many stories of people that come to me for help and still keep in touch with me years and years and years later. So that's always a really good feeling. And I also am a certified Imago relationship therapist, which on one of these shows I will be talking about. I'm also a certified Reiki Master, and that Reiki is about healing. And I have many, many other certifications, of which I will talk about ongoingly as I do these broadcasts, all to help people to feel better about themselves and to know how to keep themselves more healthy, more emotionally and mentally in tune with their own spiritual self.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Jean. I appreciate that. So does our audience. So I'm going to spotlight you and give you the timer. You have 15 minutes to present your lesson, and I'll be backstage watching, and then I'll join you so we can have a conversation. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Yes.
All right. Here we go. Wait for the timer.
Okay. So last time I was here last week, I talked about I talked about simplistic stress soothers. It's kind of a mouthful to say. So I'm going to review quickly some of those things. First of all, we are human beings. We are not human doings. And a lot of times we're so busy with life and doing everything, we forget to just be. And we can become filled with stress. So we are actually spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. And what I mean by this is that we have a part of us that animates us through this life that is always available to us. Some people call it our creator, some people call it God, some people call it source. Whatever you believe, this part of you, this spiritual part of you that's connected with everything, that's the part of you that knows that there's a way for you to come back to calmness, come back to wholeness, come back to being centered. Some of the ways that you can do that are very simplistic. First one is breathing. So when you are breathing, everybody says, well, we breathe all the time. Yes, unconsciously, we're being breathed, so to speak. But when you're stressed, And remember that stress is any demand placed upon the body, whether it's good or bad. So when you wake up in the morning and you put your feet on the floor, your legs are stressed to hold you up. That's a good stress. And when we are upset, that is distress. So distress is the way we think about the stress that's happening in our body, and our reaction to it. And if we continually have a reaction to our distress, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, financial, whatever the distress is in our life, if we keep repeating our reaction to that and staying in that fight or flight syndrome of muscle tension, and which can lead to then feeling awful all the time, or actually being on high alert all the time, then we are putting our body at risk of dis-ease. So dis-ease, meaning out of ease, can quickly become disease. And we know that, and I know from my nursing career, that 95% of all diseases have at their bottom line repeated sustained stress. So what can you do? Well, one of the things you can do is do the abdominal breathing, which is putting your one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, your abdomen, and taking breath. See which hand moves more. If your lower hand moves more, you're doing some deeper breathing. That's a good thing. If your chest moves more, then you need to imagine that you are breathing all the way down. As you breathe in, your diaphragm, which is the muscle that divides your chest and your abdomen, that goes down. And so that gives your lungs more room to breathe in. So when you're taking a breath, you want to make sure that you have the image of, it's like pouring a glass of milk, that the bottom fills up first. And this takes practice. It takes a lot of practice, to the point where once you practice it again and again and again, then it becomes part of you. And that's how you can quickly get yourself out of that fight or flight syndrome of stress, distress, back into more calm. So it sends signals to the body and to the mind, okay, there's no emergency really, or if there is an emergency really, then there's a way to figure it out. I hope not.
Okay, you cut out for a minute there. I thought you were gone. Okay.
So,
All right,
so then you
keep
want
going.
to hold the front of your head and the base of your skull and just breathe. And that allows the energy that's causing you this fight or flight, which is really feeling very upset, to calm down, and allows this part of your brain, which is your thinking part of your brain, the cerebral cortex, to know what to do when you're more calm. So that's one thing I wanted to review, because that's really, really important. Some other things that we talked about last week are soothing stone. It can be a pebble. It can be anything from, this is a jade soothing stone someone brought me as a gift from Ireland. And this is just a glass stone from the dollar store, actually. And just rubbing that is helpful. Other things that you can do are stretching. I didn't talk about that last week, but stretching is really, really important. When you are stressed, distressed, stretching your body just gently is going to help you. And that's because when you're in distress, you're holding tension in your body, in your muscles, and that's not a good thing. You need to relax those muscles. Another thing that you could do is listen to just lovely music. Music that is going to put you in a calm state of being. Another thing is, when you have time, take a warm bath, or even a hot bath, not too hot though, a hot bath with some Epsom salts in it, which is a muscle relaxer in and of itself. If you don't have time for a bath, then put your feet in a tub of water, soaking your feet in hot Epsom salt water or warm Epsom salt water. And that will pull some of that muscle tension out of your body through your feet. So that's very helpful. You can also, I love to take a bath or even a shower with candlelight, and it just softens everything. So taking a bath, shower with candlelight, playing beautiful music, kind of patting yourself dry instead of rubbing yourself, just being self-nurturing. And that's really important, especially when you're under stress that seems to be ongoing with you, whether it's from work or relationships or anything other than that. There are millions of stressors. Also, when you're under distress, you need to improve the function of your immune system. So right here is your thymus gland. I talked about this last week. And you're just going to tap this thymus gland. It's right here. Here's a teacup in your throat. Okay, that's what I call the teacup. It's right between the ends of your collarbones on either side. You come down 2 fingers and maybe 3 fingers for some people, and you'll find a little protrusion here. That's where your thymus gland is, and you just tap it lightly about 20 times, and that improves the function of your immune system right there. It strengthens it, and that's where all your T cells are incubating, in that immune system area right there. So when you're under tension, your immune system is very stressed and it's weakening. You don't want that. You want to fix that. So just tapping is easy. Another thing that you can do is, I know a lot of people are into yoga, which is wonderful. Tai Chi is wonderful, very slow movements that help very much. And humor. Humor is always a wonderful thing. So one of the things that I like to do when I feel stressed is turn on something called the Dry Bar, which is online on YouTube, and it's just, they have a lot of wonderful, really funny shows. So laughter is always a wonderful thing. Or I have a friend I could call up, and no matter what's going on in our lives, we still always end up laughing together. So that's a wonderful stress reliever. Another thing to do is this adrenal overwhelm correction, which I'll go over again like I did last week. So right here, underneath your collarbones, come down about 1 inch, and you'll feel little indentations here. 1 thumb, one side, 2 fingers in the other side. This hand goes on your abdomen, and you just rub. 15 seconds one way, 15 seconds the other way, and then that's part 1. Part 2 is 1 finger, index finger over your top lip and your middle finger under your bottom lip. Again, this hand on your belly, rub 15 seconds, 15 seconds, and then the third part is your coccyx bone, which is your tailbone. And this all has to do with energy systems in your body that are related to acupuncture and acupressure and the meridian lines. So you just rub that. And the other thing that I didn't show you last week is using a tennis ball or using a golf ball. Start out with a tennis ball though, that's easier. And what you notice is just go down, or when you ever bend down to touch your toes or as far as you can go down, just tuck your head and just roll down. Take a breath, tuck your head, roll down, and see how far you can go. And then take a tennis ball and put the tennis ball underneath your foot, 1 foot at a time, of course, and rub that tennis ball all over your foot. You might find some really sore spots. And that's a good thing because you're relieving the stress. Our feet, the bottoms of our feet always connect with parts of our body and then relieve the stress. And then go down and see if you can touch a little further when you bend down. Then do the other foot, and that's really helpful. There's a story to it that I don't have time to tell you now, but anyway, that's my 15 minutes. And many, many things. Take a walk in nature, listen to the birds chirp and the crickets. So thank you very much, and I'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Jean. Well done. I'd like to welcome Daphne Diluce to the program. Hi, Daphne. You're on mute.
Presentation as always, and I love how you're looking, Jacalyn, behind your dazzling backdrop.
Created by Brand Clever, Daphne Diluce. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Daphne, it's nice to have you here with us. Any feedback you have for Jean about her presentation?
Yes, I do. I think it's so good that she keeps showing us where these very, very special points on our body, and shows us how we can touch them. Because the thing is, you don't know what you don't know. And I also think another thing that you can do, you can share. You can also, with your close relationships, you can also, massage each other. And if you've got a stressy husband, just massage these places.
Oh, wonderful. Yes. And thank you, Jean, because we do have a lot of stress, and it is nice to know, like, you think to yourself, oh, I wish I could go get a massage or get acupuncture or do this or do that. And you teach us things that we can do right here and now without having to go anywhere or spend any money. So
yes.
Wonderful.
There are many more things, but I'm out of time. So
yes, we have to stick to a schedule. So I appreciate that. You'll come back and present again. Daphne, we're going to go to you next, but we're going to take a quick break and hear from a couple of our sponsors, and then we'll be right back and we'll turn it over to you. How does that sound?
Wonderful.
All right, here we go. Stay with us.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAT was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAT partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAT partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from 4-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. You are watching USA Global TV, or maybe you are listening on Business Talk Radio. You're watching A Better You, lessons from the best coaches, consultants, and trusted advisors. In our first segment, Jean Keegan-Daly gave us a lesson about how to soothe stress, how to use our body, how to just be able to tap into some zones to really help take that pressure off and start to feel better. So thank you, Jean. In our second segment, Daphne Diluce will be leading us in her presentation. And Daphne, what is your subject today?
My subject is invigorate your cash flow.
Fantastic. All right. I'm going to spotlight you. And Daphne, if you would just start off before your presentation, just telling us a little bit about your work at Brand Clever and Roar Media Creative. We'd love to hear it.
Yes, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Daphne Diluce, and I'm a co-founder of Raw Media Creative. And that is a digital creative company where we create all things digital, whether it's anything from a film to advertising to PR to graphics to brand models to business models. It's a 360-degree offering for anyone in business or wants to create a global profile. So, and within that, I actually have my own brand, which is called Brand Clever, which helps people create a brand that not only they love, that will be very successful. So next into the presentation. So today I'm actually going to go into how to invigorate your cash flow. So I thought this would be a fantastic project for this time of year, because we're in August now, and September time is when everyone is going to be back in business and raring to go for that next part of the year. So who needs cash flow? Just think about it. Who needs cash flow? Everybody needs cash flow. Whether you need it for your home, for your life, for your business, or for whatever it is you need. So that's why I thought this is a wonderful topic for today. So next thing, how to actually start a cash flow project. This is really interesting because working with many brands and many business people and creating brands that have a functionality of a value exchange, meaning you sell something, we give a service, and you get paid for it. Or you set up fantastic collaborations, which will just give you so many opportunities. It's breathtaking. But to do all this, you have to set up a project. And this is, even though I work with some great people, I see that they don't set up projects, and especially for cash flow. So how does setting up a project for cash flow look? Okay. First of all, you have to find your why. Why do you want this cash? And what are your goals? Okay, so let's take an example. So perhaps, so if you've got a tree surgeon and he wants to go into landscape gardening because he can see to the trees, but he's got super talent to do landscape gardening. So perhaps he needs £5,000 for equipment, or maybe £10,000 to hire some help and get equipment and to create some marketing materials and to create a website. So where is this £10,000 coming from? This is like really important to actually identify your why and your goal, so you start to be able to have some structure. And the next step is, well, before I give you the next step, there comes a real big warning. Do not even listen to this. Switch me off now if you're not willing to listen and do the work. Because with creating value, you have to work. It doesn't work on its own. Somebody doesn't do it for you. You have to do it. You can get people to help you, but you will have to pay them, because people's time is so valuable. So this is not for the faint-hearted. It's about getting up early. It's about showing up with a really good attitude. And it's also about pace and being patient, because when great people are building things, whether you're building it or people who you're helping, it does take time. So the next part of the project is when you have had a good talk to yourself and say, okay, so this might take me 100 hours to actually set up. How am I going to do that? Am I going to do that so many hours a day, or am I going to do it over a period of time? So this is what I mean about setting up the project. It's about thinking your strategy out before you start the work. Because what happens, and I've seen it over and over again, and you have too, if you just kind of remember some things that you've watched over the years, people start off with like, wow, that's a great idea, I'm doing this. And then they get going and they're like there's this kind of like flash of action and inspiration, and then it fizzles out and then there's nothing. So this is why you need to have a strategy and you have to plan your project. So you know your why. So we've got the tree surgeon, he needs £10,000 or $10,000 or euros, wherever you are in the world, because he needs to grow his business. So he wants to get more value out of his business. So he has to create value. And this is a thing where people have a lot of blind spots. They really work very hard at being infamous. Well, they'll post a lot on social media. They'll go to meetings. They'll talk a lot. They'll be busy doing all sorts of nothing that actually doesn't get them to an exchange of value. So when there's an exchange of value and money is involved in it, I always say that's a ka-ching moment. But that ka-ching moment, and this ka-ching moment is very, very important to really just feel this for a second. It has to be exciting for the people that are buying the stuff from you. If they're not absolutely so clear on the value that you're giving them and confident that you're actually going to give it to them, and actually confident and happy that what you're supplying is of great value and of great clarity and of great worth, then you're not doing the right things. Okay, because there should be a wow all the time. And that's one thing I hear a lot every day. I hear there's a fair few clients that they just say, wow, I didn't see that one. Wow, that's amazing. And this morning I got a message from a client in Arizona, and I got 3 wows. I got wow, wow, wow. But the thing is, that's so wonderful. But this is something that you can do. It's for us all. We can all do it. But when it's a ka-ching moment, we have to have a wow moment at the same time. So the next thing to think about is actually your timeline. And a lot of people don't complete their projects because they have something that I call overwhelm or imposter syndrome, or they just talk themselves out of doing something great before they've even started. And quite often I will refer to a nagging parrot and a positive parrot on your shoulder. And I will make jokes and kind of say, well, you can cage the nagging parrot or put a gag on that, because it's not helpful. And, and also too, if you have people around you who are toxic or nagging or pulling you down or making negative comments. It's really take your laptop and go and work in the library, or you have to be very focused and single-minded to pull a project off. So the next thing to do is actually sketch out your timelines. So there's always, start with the end in mind. What is the end that you want? So the tree surgeon wants $10,000 to buy equipment and pay for some help and to get a website. So that's what he wants. So when does he want it? He wants that in the next 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks' time, that's when this money has to be in the bank or in the pocket or on the desk or wherever the money is going to show up. So that's what has to happen. Now then work from the end in mind and then work backwards. So then think of your short-term goals, your medium-term goals, and then your end game. And when you do this, what happens is people will realize they have much more to do than they thought they had in less time than they think they have. So that's where your focus in action comes in, and where you need to be planning your project, you see. So when you start a cash flow project, I would say do it with joy and do it with patience, and do it with absolute certainty that you can get this money in. And you can get this money in when you have a value exchange. And in most presentations that I make, you will hear it at some point. You cannot take value out of something until you put value into something. And that goes with personal relationships too. When you have one-way loving and someone's doing all the stuff and doing all the work and the other person just taking, there's a time that it just gets out of balance, and then that relationship will dissolve, and you won't even need to try to make that happen. It will happen naturally in some way. But when there's this lovely give and take, and respect for what each other is bringing to the table, then it's going to work out fine. So the last thing is really put in a good attitude and good action, and take things forward every day. And if you can achieve 3 tasks every day and complete them, and if you can complete them by 12 p.m., then you've got more time just to keep the ball rolling. And it really is important. And the thing is, what I hear people will say, I don't have time. Well, the thing is, I say, well, take all the time that you're worrying, talking about or complaining, worrying, complaining, procrastinating, or even doing things to distract yourself. You're wasting so much time. Just take half that time and get your project done. Do it. Now, another thing you can do is also reward yourself, and reward yourself for achieving this wonderful goal and getting the money in, and then celebrate. You can take so much of what your income in and go and celebrate, do something to reward yourself. And then when you've done it once, do it again and again and again. And the more you do it, the better you will be able to do it, and the more successful you will be. So that is how you invigorate your cash flow. And of course, I have so much more I could tell you, but Dr. Jacalyn is going to say time is up, Daphne. Anyway, till the next time, thank you all for listening.
Well done, Daphne. Well done. I felt like you were speaking directly to me. I know that's... So, yes, I have to say that I work with Daphne and her partner, Steven, and I'm always going, wow, like billboard size, wow. It's amazing what they produce, what they accomplish. So thank you for sharing that. And I love the example of the landscaper. And by the way, everything that you say over there in the UK just sounds so much better, doesn't it, Jean, than the way we speak here in the United States?
It does.
It really does. So, Jean, I'm going to ask you for some feedback about Daphne's presentation.
Well, I really think that you hit all of the high parts of this. You really, you're organized in your thinking, and that's something that I think people really need to consider, the organization of your thoughts, and to take that worry that they might have and turn that into action. And another really important thing that you said that I truly believe in is you need to really love what you do. And I keep getting a signal here that my battery is low, but I have it plugged in, so oops.
Okay, well, she's working on that. Daphne, a lot of the things that you mentioned that really resonate with me are the fact that it's easy to become overwhelmed. It's also easy to find yourself going down this hole of, I'm busy. I just was reading an article about that people say that all the time. And it doesn't really mean anything it's kind of like, there's like no information in that. It's like if I say to you, how are you doing? You say, I'm fine. What does that even mean? So I've learned that I'm not going to say I am busy anymore. I'm not going to be thinking that I'm busy. I'm just going to be thinking about, what is it I want to accomplish? What is the end goal? How am I going to get there? And to take all of the excuses and all of the self-doubt and just keep moving forward. You know, I've become a little overwhelmed because I'm starting the 75 Hard Challenge, as you know, and I've got all these professional deliverables that I have to hit on. And I think, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? I have to work out twice a day. I have to do this. And I think, you will do it. You will come up with a schedule. You will follow the schedule. You will get certain tasks completed by certain times. And so I think that you really hit on that we put all of this doubt and pressure on ourselves. But if we really, truly want to accomplish something and we want to see the money, we have to do the work.
Exactly. And also, what is such a wonderful thing is that when you actually create your project, plan and do the work to do it, build it, engineer it. The thing is, when you do it and you actually get that money, actually it's not as hard as people think. And the thing is, there's a lot of people do a lot of self-sabotage and too much talking. And the thing is, another thing that drives people is social media and technology, but it drives them crazy. And this isn't good. And what I've been doing some research lately on interviews, because I'm actually producing some content that's very exciting, kind of interview style, journalistic style for one of my brands. And so I've been doing research of like how people used to be interviewed in the 70s. So when people are talking and listening and being interviewed and there's a whole thing, they don't talk about technology. There's no talk about technology and their pace of conversation, and they're so free and interesting. And I think we can actually watch those things and take some tips from it, because the technology of having another ping, another ding, another thing to react to actually fragments our power. That's not good. So we have to, yes, appreciate technology. I wouldn't be talking to you here today if we didn't have it, and I really appreciate it. But you have to switch it off sometimes, and it's really good to have early morning content creation. Switch everything off, or early morning exercise, wherever you're doing. Switch all those things off, and then come back into the world when you're ready. And then it's more of a balance. But that's so important, don't you think?
I definitely think so. And Jean is back. On the show we just had before this, Life's Amazing Journey, we had global entrepreneur Tony Liu. He started his first business, I think, at 15, and he's 27 now, and he's got deals with Nike. It's pretty amazing. But what he shared was about surrounding yourself with the right team. And I think that this is really key to making money, finding the where's the revenue going to come from. And as I shared before, and it just has to be said again, that prior to meeting you and Stephen, I had hired all of these people, and I might as well just taken the money and thrown it into the bay over there, because nobody delivered really on anything, and nobody was interested in showing me where the money was. It's like, oh, you need to have a nice looking website, and you need to have social media that looks like this, but none of it was generating any revenue. So I think it's vitally important to find professionals who know what they're doing, like Brand Clever, Aurora Media Creative, because they're going to help you take your business to the next level instead of you needing to contact Jean every single day. Like, Jean, my head's blowing off. I'm so stressed out. I tried everything. I am overwhelmed. I don't know what to do.
I had to practice some of my own techniques there when I lost you.
It's okay. It's only technology. It happens.
It really is. I have you plugged into my power bank with this fully loaded, so I don't know why it happened, but
don't worry about it.
Part of it.
We all just keep going. But getting back to our topic, I think that it's like really important before anybody starts a business to actually build up their clients, and first of all have what they're going to sell ready, and build up their clients, focus on the sales. Then you can start paying for this, that, and the other. But this is, people tend to, that's why I actually created Brand Clever. Thank you for reminding me. I created it because I got so upset of seeing good people being ripped off, and even myself over the years, and I just got so cross with it. But you see, I don't get cross, I get even. I do something, I move that energy and that force, and I push it out into something wonderful. So I created Brand Clever so people don't have that pain. And with Brand Clever, you start with show me the money, because unless you actually have a value exchange and there isn't any, that energy, you have got the money, then you're not going to grow and you're going to be very unhappy. So rather be able to go and see Jean and say, oh, help me relax because I'm so successful, rather than I need to go and see Jean because I'm desperate. We've all been there. We've all been there.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. This has been another fantastic show. And if you're just joining us, please go catch the replay on USA Global TV. And Daphne, it's been a pleasure seeing you as always. You look fantastic. I love your energy, and I hope you have a fabulous weekend. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, and who should contact you?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. If you go to our website, rawmediacreative.com, you can find everything that we do there. Or if you go into, just type in my name, daphnedeluce.com, you'll find what I do there. But there's plenty to find. But the people that should be contacting us are people who are interested in, their business modeling, their brand creation, their marketing positioning, and then their advertising, their PR, their publishing, all the things that they need to actually become brand clever to make a fabulous business and life. And people also who want to actually create a fantastic profile. Perhaps they're an author, perhaps they only sold a few books, perhaps they want to, maybe they're more ambitious and they want to actually step up that ambition. But there again, it's value and value. It's all about being willing to actually work with people and do a value exchange so you can get the best advice on the planet.
Thank you so much, Daphne. I'm just so happy you were here today and that we were able to hear this really important lesson that is really affects anyone who's in business. We're not just here doing a hobby, right? If we want to do a hobby, that's another conversation for a different show. And I really appreciate all of the learnings and the engineering and what goes on behind the scenes that you share with me personally, and helping me to take this to the next level, because we have so many more people who want to share their voice, people who want to come onto this platform. And it's just a pleasure having you here and working with you and being friends with you. I really appreciate it.
Oh, and also that's so wonderful to hear. But it's a pleasure working with you. And the thing is, it is so great as two women in the world that we are helping so many people to actually be able to manifest their dreams and not only become who they are and even more who they are, but to be able to be on USA Global TV and broadcast who they are. So that is a win-win all around. So I'm very happy that you're on the planet, Jacalyn.
Thank you. I feel the same about you. And as you know, we have some exciting announcements that are coming out. And for those of you who are on our email list, the Global Post, you are looking at Daphne Diluce, who is the brains behind all the fantastic graphics that you see. She and her partner Stephen are the ones who actually bring us this beautiful newsletter that is so uplifting as opposed to what I was putting out there before, which was really disturbing. But we have some great announcements coming out. And if you'd like to be on our email list, we would love to have you. Just email me at Jacalyn@drjacalyn.com. You see how to spell my name, Jacalyn@drjacalyn.com, and we'd love to add you. Stay tuned for some exciting announcements we have mid-September that will bring some opportunities to anyone and everyone out there who is interested in helping to promote their business and their brand. Any final words, Daphne?
Well, I just wish everybody a fantastic summer / autumn time, because it's time now to not be go into fearful zones and worrying about what's happening in the world, but not worry, but take action in your world and make your world beautiful. And then when you do that, it all adds up and it makes all of our worlds beautiful. So I wish you all much energy. And to do that, you also need to make sure that you get some sleep, you get some water, some decent food, and some, positive vibes around you. And then you can achieve anything.
Absolutely. Well said. All right, Daphne and I are leaving. Thank you to Jean. It was great seeing everyone. We've got the variety show coming up right after this, so do join us. And again, God bless you all and have a wonderful weekend.
Bye.